Have you ever looked at someone and just thought, wow, that dude is living the life?
You know who I'm talking about.
The guy with the looks, money, the career, status, whatever you consider successful. We see these people all the time, whether it be on social media or even people that we know in real life. But what if I told you that these perfect people live far from perfect lives? Well, that really shouldn't shock you, because you already knew that, yet we still glorify these people anyway. Why? Truthfully, all these superficial successful indicators that I mentioned earlier are all relative. Someone might look at me and think, wow, you have a full-time remote job that pays well, you have a girlfriend, you've moved out and you're living on your own, you're fully supporting yourself at age 24, and you have a degree and all this crap, right? And so on. But I could also look at someone who's better than me and think, wow, that guy's making 10K a month and he's only 18 years old, and so on. You know, it's all relative. So why am I bringing all of this up anyway? Well, from everything that I've said so far, this just sounds like everyday life. We see people that we just can't help but compare ourselves to no matter what, even though we know that we shouldn't. But what does this all usually stem from? Well, I just said it, comparison. However, since we all know that comparison is the thief of joy, and it's been said to death at this point, I mean, you've probably heard that, what I just said so many times, but we shouldn't compare ourselves to others, no matter how hard it actually is to follow that advice. But I want to talk about something else that usually leads to people feeling lost in life, and that's uncertainty. Uncertainty is a universal experience. Look at any of your idols. These people you look up to probably did something that's incredible and probably borderline impossible. They broke through the biggest of barriers and they made it look easy in the process. But that's just not the full story. Their journeys all have something in common, and that common challenge was uncertainty. By definition, uncertainty refers to a lack of complete knowledge or certainty about a particular situation, event, or outcome. We face uncertainty every day to some degree, and this is typically why we don't reach out and just try and achieve our dreams. For example, I have a dream of making YouTube like a full-time job and being able to make money off these videos and support myself with them. I want to be doing something that I build on my own and I'm not working for someone else, if that makes sense. I currently work a day job, and you know what? It's fine. Like, it's not a bad job. I actually like my job at times, but I don't want to be doing this forever. And I think a lot of you can relate to this. Being able to make videos like this full-time would be badass. And while this dream isn't totally out of reach, I will be met with a ton of uncertainty along the way. And yes, I do run into uncertainty all the time when I'm making videos on this channel. What if my channel never grows? What if I put all this work into this video? What if people just don't like my videos? Dislike the video? What if people I know find my channel and make fun of me for making self-improvement content? These are all uncertainties that we face as YouTubers, and it's really common actually. In reality, you will never actually find the answers to your uncertainties until you go out there and take some action towards your goals. I'll take one of those uncertainties that I mentioned just right before. What if people found my channel that I know in real life and make fun of me for it? Well, people I know in real life did find my channel, and I've heard nothing but good things actually. The thing is, you just have to get out there, put yourself out there, and you never know what's going to happen until you just do it. So with that said, what if we spin uncertainty into a good thing? What if in a good way, uncertainty keeps life refreshing and always on your toes, which in turn prevents stagnation, which we know is a good thing. We don't want to be stagnant in our progress. Well, this is exactly what uncertainty can help us do to help us grow as people. If I were always certain about everything in life, yeah, it would be comfortable, but it would also be boring as shit. But also, what if you knew everything that was always going to happen to you all the time in your life? Think about it. I honestly think that would not only make life boring, but that would also just make your life full of anxiety. Imagine if you knew you're gonna die in 4 years, 30 days, 21 hours, 2 minutes, 6 seconds, and 416 milliseconds. Yeah, I wouldn't like that neither. That just sounds like hell to know that. But another great thing about uncertainty is that opportunity often arises from the unexpected. Think about school for a second. When you first went to school, let's say it's your first time starting high school or university or whatever, you honestly did not know what to expect. But after having lived through it, assuming you already graduated high school or university, you didn't know that you were gonna meet some great friends along the way, or that you'd find the love of your life even. That's just an example, but go along with it. None of these things that we experience are guaranteed, but they can only be found out by living through these experiences firsthand. So go out there and grab it. You don't know what's out there until you actually go out there. Alright, so how does uncertainty and everything that I've talked about help us to embrace this feeling of being lost or even behind in life? And to answer that, I have to bring in a mindset shift, which is usually the answer to a lot of these questions. Trust me, a good mindset about things can really impact your whole life. So first of all, I wouldn't think of it as being lost or behind, but rather adventuring at your own pace. Not everyone can build a multi-million-dollar business in their parents' basement at age 16. That's just unrealistic. If so, we would all be doing it. And you have to realize that the average successful person doesn't find success until way later in their life. You only hear about the 16-year-old billionaire because that's newsworthy. No one wants to hear about the 40-year-old who grinded for 20 years to make millions of dollars. That's boring. But everybody wants to hear about the quick win, which is why that's all you hear. But you know, that's only like 0.1% of cases. You can't look at the outliers and expect yourself to just be an outlier. But not only that, but most people who find success in their life were met with uncertainty along the way. They guaranteed felt lost or even behind in life because they didn't have it figured out like the rest of the people in their age group. So what if you're 30 years old and you decide you want to graduate high school because you dropped out when you were 16? Or maybe you're 60 and you want to switch up your career because you're not happy with doing finance all day. Sure, people around you will appear to be ahead, but that's all irrelevant in your decision. Especially if you want to switch things up and do something that makes you happy, not someone else. There will always have people who have more than you and who are younger and more successful or whatever, but don't let that stop you from doing what you want to do. But anyways, remember what I said about embracing uncertainty like life is an adventure? Well, like any adventure in life, you never know what the outcome is gonna be until you actually live through it. If you're scared to start something new in life because you feel stuck or you don't know what you're doing with your life, just go out there and do it. Try something new, my guy. Take the first step today, no matter how small it might be. Maybe you want to switch up your career, but you need to go to school. Just start with picking the right degree or program that you want, and then look at the school. Small things that can only take you a few minutes, but they add up. You start by building that momentum by taking the first step. Once you've started, the rest just becomes easy. Find that college, upload your first YouTube video. Because as I was saying before, that first step that you take might just be the difference between a boring and stagnant life or a life that you actually find worth living.